And I come to people. I go to them. I travel to them.
You do in-house calls.
I do in-house calls.
So is that how you make your money?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I do that, and I do a lot of shows.
Do you consider it sex work?
It's weird. It's feeling a weird line because I feel like it's. For me, it's not sex work. Like as far as I'm concerned, like I ain't put my dick out and insert in nobody. So that to me, I'm not having sex.
However,
do you think stripping is sex work?
Strippers, yeah, I was about to say strippers dance and they're not having intercourse, but they're considered a line of sex work. And
right.
I'm not gonna read off the prices because we'll give your booking if anyone's interested. But I want to read off some of your services, and then maybe we can be like, how can you not consider this sex work? So some of the services that Sir Dashington provides is Goddess Pampering Service. It's all sensual play, no pain or ropes, but that's optional.
It's optional.
It is optional. So real quick, I'm actually going to compare that to a boyfriend experience, a BFE. Because a lot of that, or GFE for girlfriends, they don't necessarily have to have sex, but it's more of the intimacy.
It's more of the intimacy. Some people want to touch, people want to cuddle, people want to. It's all that stuff. So it's more
Escorts
based around
that, and they're sex workers, just so you know, because we got to get you to reclaim your sex work title. The next one is Toyland. So that includes ropes and sex toy sampler. You have a spank and paint, which includes ropes and floggers dipped in paint, which you explained. Electrocutioner, electroplay, and toy ropes optional. Can you explain what electroplay is?
Electroplay is just like a whole unit of things people like to play with electricity. And so there's toys, there's the neon wand, which has like a little dial on it, and you can kind of touch the wand, kind of table. It's a really, really light version of it. You can control the volume of how hard and how high it is. So you find people's really good spot. If you do it really at a nice level, it could tickle somebody. I've seen people laugh until they bust a nut.
What are places they normally want to be electrocuted?
I take them. Well, I usually don't give them a choice. We usually get tied up and stuff like that. So I used to tantalize and mess with you and find your sweet spot. That's my niche. That's my thing. Is everyone's
spot different?
Everybody's different. You know what I mean? Before I start a session, like if I do a session most time, I sniff the girl from head to toe. When I sniff her from head to toe on some old primal shit, I swear to God, I sniff her from head to toe, and when I finish sniffing her, basically I connect in with her body, and her body kind of tells me.
I did this recently during like a body worshiping session. I was talking about on our Patreon episode how like we did a lot of foreplay for an hour. Yeah, it wasn't like a weird sniff, but it was like really going down and smelling my entire body.
Yeah, sniff your entire body.
That shit is kind of hot to me.
It actually like locks me into your energy and your vibe. It's weird. And then from there, literally, I pride myself off of women. I have to say, yeah, you have to do A, B, C, D. From there, your body's. I read your body, and I teach people how.
Man,
to
y'all need to listen to this because that's what y'all need to be doing.
I have classes, and I try to teach guys.
I'm sorry, I did say it wrong. I was the one who did it. I used the wrong wording. Like. His hair to beard, neck, chest. Like, I love the smell of just, I don't know. There's those pheromones that like you just can't.
Pheromones, just stuff you can't even explain. It's hard to even say. There's like, just things, sometimes my sessions, things happen that are like really hard for me to explain like what happened. It's literally out of my hands. I feel like this.
Can they tell you're doing it? Because I don't know if he knew what I was doing.
Yeah, people tell what I was doing. I've done stuff where I'm doing stuff where I'm not even touch people's body, and when I pull up, their whole body lifts the fuck up, and I'm just like they had strings.
Well, it's energy. I mean, that's the real thing with erotica, right? It's like figuring out a way besides penetrative or even sometimes your genitals of like turning each other on.
So the next one kind of goes without explanation. It's wax on, wax off, which is wax play. You have rope therapy, rope bondage for beginners, sensual dominance for men. So is that you teaching sensual dominance to men? Or
those last three are classes. These
are
rope,
classes.
Those are like courses I teach or trainings or lessons. I do rope bondage for beginners. I do rope therapy is different. Rope therapy is where I tie people up and we talk about things that are actually binding them and holding them down, and we go through breathing exercises, and then I release them in a representation of like letting that shit go. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And getting past certain things, certain trauma. A lot of women come to me with different trauma. They haven't came in forever, or they don't know how to squirt, or they don't know how to do these different things. So they come to me, and I show them how to do it, and I do these things to them, and release it and show them how to climax.
All right. These next two, or the last two that we'll talk about. You have one that's called "What's for Dinner." Food porn. Depends on the menu. The menu price may vary for this, but you climax with food or dinner served in a kiddie bowl.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, well, sometimes I'll tie her up. I'll tie her up and I'll like raid her refrigerator, cook a whole fucking meal.
Wait, what? Wait. You raid in her refrigerator?
Raid her refrigerator, make a fucking meal, and then put that shit in a bowl and then feed it to her like an animal.
Yo, shut up.
And this is coming from a Negro.
Yo,
everybody.
shut up.
Mm-hmm.
One of our own.
This last one that I want to talk about, if you can, what the fuck is it? You do a unicorn kidnap, and this is the most expensive on the goddamn
unicorn
things.
kidnap is basically an organized kidnap where you kind of you know the day. Listen, you know the day.
We a lot of people have seen that in the bonding.
You know the
first
day.
episode.
You know the day, but you don't know when and where I'm gonna snatch you up from. And then I get a U-Haul van, and I snatch your ass up, and I'll tie you up in the van, take you to another location, and then do a whole full BDSM scene. Yeah.
So this is kind of playing into. I was having this conversation actually. Oh my God! It was with Jill Soloway. So we met up with this lady in L.A. It was me, her, and Beard Bay, and I was like, "There's a lot of guilt that surrounds me around rape fantasies," and I'm like, "All I want to do is give someone a key to my house, right? Give them like a 3-day span. Don't tell me when you come in, but also fuck the shit out of me when you get there." I don't want it to be like, because unwanted is a porn category, which I don't like that. I more so want like the excitement of it. Like I don't want to be like really saying no. I just want it to be like, "Ooh, are you taking me?"
Right.
I feel so bad. Like that whole unwanted thing. There's actually
I don't like playing rape plays.
See,
because there's a difference between what you're talking about and rape.
Yeah,
like
that's different. There's that, and then there's actually like I've had girls that I was having sex with and they're saying, "Rape me, daddy, rape me, daddy, rape me," screaming that shit loud as fuck, and I'm just like. I ain't stopping. I'm like,
you know why? Because it's that fucking dom shit. They think that's part of it.
And then it's playing into this shit because then she thinks I'm playing. I'm really like, listen, shut the fuck up. Like, can't be screaming that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, somebody can come kick down the door and kick my ass. You know
it's so crazy. There's this porn that I've been watching recently, and it's so it's along the unwanted thing. What is it? It's called Mall something, but basically they're in like a back room where like you get caught for shoplifting, and so it's all these guys that get caught for shoplifting, and in order for the police or for the mall security not to call the police, he's like, "You gotta fuck me." So if all these men like, "No, I don't know, but okay, just because I don't want to go to jail," and then he starts making the guys like suck his dick, and then like he also like records it, so you see like a camera phone angle, then the actual room angle. And it's really like some unwanted shit because these are all straight men that now are having to suck dick to keep out of jail. So it's kind of some weird shit.
I want you to go back really quick to talking about the releasing the ropes and the releasing the traumas. Like, I don't really know if we've ever talked about this on the show, but I do know what you're talking about. I've heard about it and read about it. Can you talk about that one more time? Like, just how, much like when doing certain type of psychedelics or drugs, right? We just brought up ayahuasca. It's funny, I'm bringing it up again. They say that you go through this period of darkness to then, release it and feel better. Even throwing up during it is that ritual, is like letting all of those demons go, like releasing yourself. Talk about the trauma and like how untying the ropes breaks it a little bit.
Well, I've noticed that with the tying the ropes, what I do is I make sure that when I do this session, that we have a nice full consultation before we even start. So I know exactly what we're talking about. We're getting into, and then I kind of once I get to a certain place where I know I'm hitting certain trigger areas, then it's like, okay, it's time to tie you up, and then I tie them up into this situation, and then from there I kind of start asking them certain questions. It's kind of like let them speak upon it. You know what I'm saying? Let them speak upon these things, and people. They talk about it, and a lot of these things are things that people don't really speak to people about, and they cry. You know what I'm saying? They cry. Some people just, they talk about after it's done, like how much better they feel because they got a chance to like really release that stuff, and before I even get into the consultation, I kind of really get into it and talking to them about creating your own reality and creating your own reality with your thoughts and how you think about things and projecting, and manifesting your thoughts. And so this is when we start to get into our breathing exercises. It really kind of hits in, you know what I'm saying? Right. And we sit there, you know what I'm saying? I'll sit there and we sit there and I'll sit there and let you and try to talk you to and keep you in a place where your mind is on black and your focus is on nothing but darkness, you know what I mean? And then try to help pull some of these things out of people. And when I tend to release them from the ropes, either they cry, some people shout, some people come without even me having to do anything, touching their genitals, anything like that's not even the whole point of this stuff. And that's what it is. I've had some sessions where people they feel like they've been through some really traumatic things. And
are they mostly traumatic sexual experiences?
Not all the time. Sometimes it's just things that just fuck up your concentration before you about to bust a nut. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to. Oh, sorry. It doesn't always have to be. It doesn't have to always be something that's crazy traumatic to maybe to everybody, but somehow affected them in a way where they it could be some people that people talk shit about them as a kid and they made them really really self conscious, and when they before they get to the point they over fucking think things and blow the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Do you do this with women and men or just women?
Just women.
And do you notice like a certain type of woman, whether it be like their profession or their attitude, or
my clients I know one thing that when I first got into this, and I really didn't realize that I got into the BDSM. I thought it was about sex, and I thought it was certain things, and I realized that like. By having sex with somebody, doing the whole act, it kind of cuts certain type of connection off. Mm-hmm. And so once I realized, okay, let me take sex out the picture and see how things go, I started realizing that people really open up and really, really open up a whole lot more. And I'm able to tap into them during my sessions in another whole realm. In a lot of my classes, I teach guys and I teach other people, teach partners, period, is to like take sex out the picture. Sex is fucking you up. Dick and putting dick in the hole, pussy in it, that shit's fucking the picture. If you concentrate on everything else besides that, you're gonna get them to another whole level, and of course you're gonna get some pussy at the end. Like it's just a mind fuck for yourself and for them to like, you know what I mean, to get yourself into that realm. If in the back of your mind, your subconscious, you know that you're just trying to get some pussy, you're just trying to get the honey, you're gonna skip certain levels, skip certain signs to get to the honey. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and the thing is too, like sex to most people is like, people ask me like, how do you have sex with a woman? And I'm like, how do I not? Mm-hmm. Like, people's idea of sex is literally pussy and a vagina. So are gay men's virgins? Right. Are lesbians virgins? Like, what is our idea of sex? And to a lot of people, spanking can be sex, choking can be sex, oral sex, whatever. And I like what you're saying about taking the sex out of it, because our societal view on what sex is kind of fucked up. Like, I've had way better experiences outside of that kind of sex.
I feel like the niche is out of sex. I feel like everybody's having sex. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gets to that part. So if you can focus on everything around that and not
the kink shit that we're trying to get y'all into.
Right. If you're trying to get everybody to get into that shit, you pull away from that and actually get around everything else around it, you actually become a better lover.
Do you find that there's truth in people that are wanting to be dominated or generally dominant people in their personal lives? We've talked about how, like, cops are always the ones that love to get pissed on or spanked or whatever. Like, that powerful people like that. Have you noticed that trend?
There is that flip. I noticed that a lot of the sisters I deal with, they're not no slouches. They all holding their shit down. They all got their thing going on. They all holding relationships, have families. They have their thing. They're not, you know what I mean? Not necessarily, they're very dominant. So a lot of them are very dominant in their everyday life. You know what I'm saying? They got to take charge and they got to hold shit down. And they got to this and that. So when it comes down to in the bedroom, when it comes down to certain situations, they don't want to have to do that.
Relinquish control. Yeah.
And I noticed that a lot of times I have a lot of clients that are escorts and prostitutes and stuff like that, and they actually see me for services too, because literally they getting a bunch of they're having sex for money, and it kind of takes away from they're faking it all day.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're probably not gonna get from a John.
Right. They're faking it all day to do all this and that. And at the end of the day, they're still horny to a certain level, but they don't want no dick because they've been having dick all day. But they still want like non-penetrative services to actually.
My friend is like that.